My name is Ryan, and this is Behind the Tape, where we explore some of the most chilling and perplexing true crime cases. Tonight, we delve into a story that has haunted London for nearly 5 decades, the brutal murders of Eve Stratford and Lynne Weedon. These two young women were attacked just months apart in 1975, their lives cut short by a predator who has never been brought to justice. DNA evidence has confirmed that the same individual committed both murders, yet despite decades of investigative work, the identity of this killer remains unknown. What happened to Eve and Lynne? And why has justice eluded them for so long? Let's step behind the tape and uncover the terrifying truth. Chapter 1: The Murder of Eve Stratford. It was the evening of March 18, 1975, when 21-year-old Eve Stratford, a rising model and former bunny girl at the Playboy Club in London, was found brutally murdered in her East London flat. Eve had aspirations of a glamorous career and was known for her striking beauty and confidence. However, on that fateful day, someone entered her home and subjected her to a horrific assault before taking her life. Eve was discovered by her boyfriend, Tony Priest, in their shared apartment on Lyndhurst Drive. The scene was nothing short of gruesome. Eve's hands were bound behind her back, and a silk scarf was used to gag her. The most shocking detail was the brutality of her death. Her throat had been slashed multiple times, almost to the point of decapitation. There were signs of sexual assault, and the excessive violence suggested a deeply personal or sadistic motive. The police launched an immediate investigation, speaking to neighbors, friends, and colleagues. There were no signs of forced entry, raising the possibility that Eve had known her killer or had let them in willingly. Some witnesses reported seeing a man loitering near her residence that day, but no solid leads emerged. The investigation stalled, with police baffled by the savagery of the attack and the lack of conclusive evidence. Chapter 2: The Murder of Lynne Weedon. Just 6 months later, on September 3, 1975, 16-year-old Lynne Weedon was attacked in an eerily similar fashion. Lynne was a bright and popular schoolgirl with her whole future ahead of her. That night, she had been walking home after spending time with friends when she was ambushed near the gates of an electricity substation in Hounslow, West London. The attack was swift and merciless. She was struck over the head with a blunt object, rendering her unconscious. The assailant then dragged her into a secluded area, where she was raped before being left for dead. Lynne's body was discovered the next morning, barely clinging to life. She was rushed to the hospital, but tragically, she succumbed to her injuries the following day, without ever regaining consciousness. Unlike Eve's case, Lynne's murder had no immediate suspects or clear connections to anyone she knew. The brutal nature of both crimes raised concerns that a serial predator was lurking in London, targeting young women in seemingly random but equally savage attacks. For over 3 decades, the murders of Eve Stratford and Lynne Weedon remained separate cold cases, gathering dust in police archives. That changed in 2007, when forensic advances allowed investigators to extract and analyze DNA evidence from both crime scenes. The results were shocking. The DNA was an exact match. Eve and Lynne had been killed by the same person. This revelation should have been a turning point, yet it only deepened the mystery. Despite having a full DNA profile, police were unable to find a match in any criminal database. This meant that the perpetrator had never been arrested for a crime that required DNA submission, or they had somehow evaded law enforcement for decades. The discovery reignited media attention and a renewed appeal for information. Investigators combed through old witness statements and re-examined suspects from both cases. However, with so much time having passed, crucial evidence had been lost, and many potential witnesses were no longer available. The identity of the murderer remained elusive. Several theories have emerged regarding the identity and motive of this unknown predator. Some experts believe that the killer was a local man familiar with both areas where the crimes occurred. The level of violence, especially in Eve's case, suggested extreme rage, perhaps fueled by rejection or a deep-seated psychological disorder. One chilling theory is that the murderer may have continued offending but was never caught. The possibility of undiscovered victims cannot be ruled out. Could this individual have been a transient killer, operating across different locations? Or did he simply disappear into obscurity after these 2 murders? Another possibility is that the perpetrator may have been someone from Eve's professional or social circle. Her work as a Playboy bunny and as a glamour model could have drawn unwanted attention from dangerous individuals. Was she targeted by an obsessed admirer or someone with a personal vendetta? For the families of Eve Stratford and Lynne Weedon, the pain of losing their loved ones has never faded. Justice remains out of reach, leaving a gaping wound that time cannot heal. The unsolved nature of these murders continues to haunt London's history, a stark reminder of how even the most advanced forensic breakthroughs can fail to deliver closure. With advancements in DNA genealogy and investigative techniques, there is still hope that this case could be solved. If the perpetrator has living relatives who have submitted their DNA to public databases, a match could eventually be made. Until then, the case remains open, a mystery waiting to be unraveled. Eve Stratford and Lynne Weedon were vibrant young women whose lives were stolen in acts of unimaginable violence. Their killer has evaded justice for nearly 50 years, but the truth is out there. Someone knows something. If you or anyone you know has any information that could help solve this case, please come forward. Even the smallest detail could be the key to unlocking the identity of this long-hidden predator. If you found this case compelling and want to hear more in-depth investigations into unsolved crimes, make sure to subscribe to Behind the Tape. Like, share, and leave a comment with your thoughts. Do you think this case will ever be solved? Your support helps keep these stories alive and ensures that the voices of the victims are never forgotten. Stay safe, stay aware, and remember, the past has a way of catching up with those who think they got away. Until next time, this is Ryan, signing off from Behind the Tape.